Yes, welcome back to the Sports Show. Time for the International Roundup. This is where Barry Curtin does his best work. Baz, what have you brought in today, mate?
Well, mate, we've been talking about the PGA, haven't we?
We
the
have.
last few weeks.
Because you like golf just a little.
Well, I like golf, but I also like talking about the cash they make. It is ridiculous.
And we'd all like to make it. Yep.
Well, it is, really. Now, Justin Thomas,
Yes.
who was the new world number one after winning the World Golf Championship event at St Jude's on the weekend. He picked up 1.8 for his weekend there. So
Weekend of
the
1.8.
World Golf Championships are always the ones that are worth a lot of money.
Yep.
So he's won that, which got him to 13 tour wins. Now, that is a lot of wins. And he was the third youngest to reach that goal.
Wow.
Now, do you know who the other two were, Phil?
Tiger Woods.
One. Go on, who's the greatest ever? All they say. There's Tiger,
Jack Nicklaus.
Bingo.
Yep.
Okay, so you got Tiger and Jack.
Yep.
They both got there quicker than, but this bloke here, he's third.
Just behind him.
Really good player, an extremely good player. But we had some Aussies in the field.
Yes.
Jason Day.
He's
tied six.
He's been coming.
He's
climbing.
Sneaking.
Yep.
You're right, you're dead right. He tied sixth, $268,000.
For sixth.
For sixth. That's right.
I'd be happy with that.
Lucas Herbert, he tied 49th. He wasn't
49.
going so well, yeah.
23, 24,000?
44.
40.
44,000. Okay, Mark Leishman.
Oh, please.
Tied 52. 40,000. Tied 52.
Tied 52.
Yeah. Cam Smith and Matt Jones, the other two Aussies, both tied 59. So really didn't get a lot of cash. 35,000 they got.
For 59.
For tied 59.
Imagine that.
That's quite amazing, isn't it, really?
Where'd you finish? So 59th and you got 50 grand. For
Yeah,
that.
exactly right. Yeah,
that's
not too bad, is it?
No.
Not bad at
I
all.
mean, I know it's not as simple as they play on the weekend and that's what they get. We understand all the work that they do to get there, but
That's true.
it's not too
That's
bad
true.
though. Still not bad.
But that World Golf Championship is set apart from the PGA Tour because it is one of the really big ones. It's one of the World Golf Championship ones are real big tournaments. A lot of money, obviously.
How many? World champ.
I think there's about 2 or 3 of them per season.
Yeah, so if you played in 2 or 3, I guess my point is if you played in 3 and finished 60th 3 times, you've made 150
Well, you need
grand
to be,
for the year.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You need to be in the top 50 odd or whatever to get a gig in the thing anyway. So there is actually another tournament played on the PGA Tour while this one's going on.
Yeah.
And we had some Aussies there. And here is the difference in money between the two. Right. So the Barracuda was played the same time as the World Golf one.
Yep.
We had Cameron Percy, Cameron Davis, and Rain Gibson all played in the Barracuda.
Yep.
Now Cameron Percy tied 25. He only got 28 grand.
Ah.
Now, there's a difference, isn't there? Tied 32 was Cam Davis.
Not in the big ones.
He got 20 grand.
Right.
So, these guys up on the WGC are picking up.
Still doing okay.
Massive
but
money.
money.
Still doing great well.
Yeah.
Minjee Lee,
Yep.
an Australian women's golfer in the LPGA. She finished third in the event on the weekend, which was a fantastic result for her.
Yep.
She's world class, without a problem. I said that Justin Thomas has now gone to number 1 in the world on the golf, which would have made him another mil.
Wow.
So he's not struggling. Our buddy Daniel Ricciardo.
Daniel?
Yeah. Now we've spoken about him, haven't we?
We
the last
have.
few weeks.
He's about to move.
Yeah. Well, in the 3 qualifying sessions for the Grand Prix, he qualified 11th, 7th, and 8th, and then he finished 4th, just off the podium. So not a bad result.
He's doing all right.
Yeah, he's not doing too badly either. He's another one that's
He's in a Volkswagen Combi.
exactly.
So
Once he gets into a car,
Once he gets in the big boy toy.
exactly,
he'll be right.
he's going to be the man.
Yep.
Here's my favourite one, mate. Ireland beat England in the 3rd one-day international.
Yes?
I love that because
That Ireland beat England.
yes, because Owen Morgan, who was the captain of England, made 100 in this game, and they scored 320 England, and Ireland ran them down, and they beat them. But the interesting part about that, mate, is Owen Morgan is Irish.
There you go.
They're captaining England.
Yep.
Against Ireland, made 100, and they got flogged.
You know what's going to be the best part of this international roundup? You'll come in probably 10 weeks' time and there'll be a bloke playing for England that was from England. Because you haven't named one in 4 weeks
Exactly
yet.
right.
From England.
Right.
So.
Well, I just thought that was funny, that he's belted 100 against his home country,
Yep.
and then they've come back and belted him,
Yeah.
and won, which is, for Ireland to beat England in the cricket, it's
pretty big,
It's a
isn't
bit
it?
like, well, what can we say?
Yeah.
Rosewater knocking
unusual.
off
Yep.
Richmond.
Anyway,
Anyway, and lastly, mate.
I know you've got a
come on.
couple. I want to ask you this one, and then we'll come to your last one. Rafael Nadal's just pulled out of the
Well,
US
that's
Open.
that was my.
Has it? So
yes.
he's now out. Roger Federer's out. We know Kyrgios has pulled out as well.
Yep.
And he's been an unbelievably clever and smart spokesman through this whole Corona
My
thing.
word,
So
he
I
has.
think he's changed people's opinion. Nick, we know Ash Barty's pulled out as well.
Yeah.
This is the first time that the Grand Slam US Open hasn't had Federer or Nadal in it
Yeah.
since 1999.
Who wins it?
Well, and that's my next point. So does it matter now? Obviously, for the person that wins it, it's important.
Yeah.
But suddenly when the best players in the world are not there,
Yeah.
does it take away from it? I mean, you're still going to have your name on the cup. You're still going to be US Open champ. But, you know, you and I go over and we win it. You go, oh, yeah, but Nadal didn't play and Federer wasn't there. And you kind of go...
Well, Novak's got to be the man, doesn't he?
Well, I don't know if he's going to go. He's
Well.
talking about pulling out too.
Oh, okay.
So
well,
with the
yeah,
Corona,
okay.
they're all nervous around this
Well, I
time.
don't blame them, Phil. You know, I don't blame them one little bit.
Well, then-
Kyrgios has got he is, as you said, I think he's drawn a lot of respect from the Australian public.
Absolutely. He's
you know,
been
over
really
the
good.
last
Well,
6
then the
months.
French Open now, of course, is normally played in May, is scheduled to be played 2 weeks
Yeah.
after the US Open finishes. So that puts that down at September 13th.
Yeah,
Right now with Corona, that can't be played.
exactly.
So I want to lead into the Australian Open just quickly to get it back to our shores.
Yeah.
The Australian Open makes that much money that carries tennis through for the rest of the year. How are we going? So I'll ask you, would you buy a ticket to the Australian Open if Djokovic, Federer, Nadal and Ash Barty,
Probably
Williams weren't playing? Would you go?
Probably not. Probably not.
It's dangerous times, isn't it?
No, no. So
Scary times.
Stoser, Barty, Nick Kyrgios, all the Australians are withdrawn.
Yep.
One thing quickly, mate, on the golf before we go.
Yes.
The PGA
Yes.
is this weekend. The American
Your tip?
PGA. Well, the Tiger's back. Tiger will play. But if you were talking cash, when I see you next week,
Yep.
to see
There's
the
going to
winner
be
of
some
that,
cash.
it's
Some big money.
massive money. But there's a couple of young blokes around. I'm just going to throw one out at you here. Victor Hovland.
Victor Hovland.
No one's ever heard of him. Victor Hovland. Keep your eye on that young fella. And also locally, keep your eye on a young golfer called Jack Thompson.
Jack Thompson.
This guy is going to be a superstar.
All right. We're off and running. Stay with us. Plenty coming up.